Hello everybody, my name is Stephen Howson, this is Stephen Howson FC, and this is pre-game analysis Manchester United versus Stoke. Now it's been 3 wins on the bounce for Manchester United, 10 goals scored, 0 conceded, but the results are masking what I believe is the struggle to score goals early on in the games. Against West Ham we did score an early goal. It was an excellent counter-attack led by Marcus Rashford, which was a brilliant ball which set up Lukaku to score the eventual goal. But against Swansea and against Leicester, it took a long time for us to open the scoring, and when we did it was from a set piece and a corner in both instances. Corner for Bay's goal, corner for Marcus Rashford's goal. Now, there's positives to this. We're scoring from set pieces, which is something that we've not done for the longest time. But there's an obvious negative to being forced to score from set pieces, and I think people ignoring those because the results are great. Now, this isn't me moaning. This is me being real and finding talking points to talk about during our games, because I think it's foolish to just sit here and go, oh, great, innit? We're scoring loads of goals, we're not conceding any. I think we're looking excellent, I really do. Clean sheets at the back, scoring at the top, but I think there's 10 and 15% extra when a team sits off against us, as we've seen over the last few seasons, under Lou Van Gaal, under David Moyes, under Jose Mourinho a lot last season. I think we lack a little bit of movement in that final third. I do think it'll come. I think it's something that we're clearly going to be working on in training. We've added speed. We've added various different things which we already look different doing this season from previous seasons. But I just think there's little tweaks, and I want to talk about those. Fullbacks are possibly an issue. They've not been going forward too much, and I think against this Stoke side, and I'll get into this a little bit later on, I don't think we're going to see this, but I do want to see them being a bit more adventurous in more games. But before we get into that, and before we get into what Stoke are going to offer, I have to pause for a second and let you know that this video, like all the videos, well, not all of them actually, but like a lot of the videos on this channel at the moment, they are sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball has been supporting me now for a few months, and it's a really good app. I know that loads of you guys are using it. You're telling me about it in the comments. OneFootball is an absolutely fantastic app for all of your football news. There's Opta-powered stats on here. Use it for fixtures. Use it to see what's coming out, what's going on in the world of football. Like I said, fantastic app. Get it turned on. Get the notifications turned on for it as well. Get it downloaded and let me know what you think about it in the comments. Personally, I'm using it all the time. I have the notifications turned on. It is literally the one football app that I go to. A bit of a pun there, but it is the one football app that I go to for all of the breaking news. It's fantastic. Get the alerts turned on. Link is in the description below. Get it downloaded. So, on to Stoke then. Stokealona, what are they going to be offering for us? They're currently playing a 3-4-3 formation, which can at times be like a 3-6-1 formation, as teams can often just leave a single striker, but that is not how Stoke and Hughes have been deploying this formation. They persisted with it in each of their league games since the Everton game, where they started with it in the Everton game, but they actually finished playing a 4-2-3-1 for the last 20 minutes or so. Besides that, they've played every single game with this formation, and it's what I would call a counter-attacking 3-4-3. They deployed it excellently against Arsenal. This wasn't a fluke result against Arsenal. I've watched the entire Arsenal game twice. I've tried to pick it apart because I think, apart from the fact that Arsenal played 3 at the back and matched them formation for formation before they changed, I actually think that that's a good footprint for, or a good blueprint for how you've got to look at how they're going to line up against Manchester United. And against Arsenal, one of the things that I noticed is that they left 3 players forward. They didn't get men behind the ball when Arsenal started coming onto them, and Arsenal made chances. So I thought that was very interesting. Fletcher and Allen sit as a pair in front of the back 3, and they make it extremely solid. The wing-backs come in and help out in terms of numbers, but for me that is where the weakness is. It's been mainly Peters and Mami Diouf that used to play for Manchester United. But Mami Diouf is a forward. He was a forward for Manchester United. He's still a forward. He can be played as a wide right winger if you like, but playing him as a fullback, as a wing-back in this formation, for me, when I've seen the chances that Stoke have conceded, they've come from various places. Against West Brom, it was mostly from set pieces, which is another positive in the United column for how good we've been on set pieces this season. But a lot of the stuff came down their left-hand side, so the attacker's left-hand side, their right-hand side, and Mami Diouf for me is the weak link that you can target in this formation. And if it's not Diouf, it's going to be Jeff Cameron, and Jeff Cameron is also not a fullback. However, he is a bit more defensive, and he's a big lad. He's probably like 1.9 metre tall. He's a real big lad. And he's a centre-half. He's not a winger. He's not a right wing back. He's not a full back. He is a centre-half. And playing him in this right wing back position is asking for him to be targeted. Now, if it's him or if it's Diouf, that is for me the number one thing that Manchester United need to target against Stoke. Whether that's Rashford, whether that's Martial, they need to target that side, our left-hand side. And this is another reason for me why I would go with the three-man midfield. I think a three-man midfield against Stoke to go toe-to-toe with what Stoke are going to try and do in terms of setting their stall out to attack, which is what they're going to do. I think bringing a three-man midfield in, I would play Herrera. I think Jose might play Fellaini. But one of the reasons I want to see the three-man midfield is to put Pogba back on the left-hand side, and whether that's Martial, whether that's Rashford, I would like to see us try and isolate that right wing back, because that is a space that we can isolate, open up some space for ourselves and get some balls into Lukaku in the middle. Let's face it, he's definitely going to be playing. So what have Stoke got? They've got a strong, solid midfield. If it's a little bit unspectacular with Joe Allen and Darren Fletcher, but the forward three is massively different. The forward three is where the quality really comes in for Stoke. Some unbelievable signings on behalf of Stoke, in all honesty. Jese Rodriguez is a wonderful footballer, and he's definitely going to be using Stoke as a stepping stone. Shaquiri, I think, is the one with possibly the most quality about how he plays the game. Another unbelievable coup that Stoke managed to get him. But then the one that I think is a bit of a wild card for them, and I'm definitely going to ruin his name, it's Choupo Moting. Christ, honestly, should we call him El Chapo? Let's call him El Chapo. So El Chapo, there's a talented trio that they've got there, and if and when they start to click, they're going to cause trouble. They're a little similar in the way they play. They're all more like attacking midfielders. El Chapo's not really a centre forward for me. I think they're just very fluid in what they offer, but El Chapo caused Arsenal a lot of problems. I think his finishing is quite poor, but the movement and the positions that he takes up are dangerous, and at some point, somewhere, he's going to hurt someone and he's going to score a goal. I just hope that's not against Manchester United, because Stoke could cause an upset here. I just don't think they're going to. So, when most teams are coming up against a top 5, top 6 team, even at home, they're going to park the bus. But Stoke didn't. They took the game to Arsenal. The Arsenal game obviously being the most standout one, the most relevant. Everton away doesn't really tell you what's going to happen. West Brom doesn't really tell you what's going to happen. Arsenal at home is the biggest indicator of how this Stoke team is going to play this season against Manchester United. So this is the one that I've focused all of my time on. Now, against Arsenal, against most top 5 or 6 teams, you would expect the likes of Stoke to leave one man either in a channel or right in the middle of the halfway line as their outlet. They left 3. Now, it gives you a problem when you're the attacking team. If they're expecting to concede possession, and they conceded like 67% possession to Arsenal in this game, that's a big ask for you to do, to leave 3 men that far forward as 3 possible outlets. Now, traditionally, a team with playing 4 at the back, they don't want to be dealing with 3 forwards with the 4 of them. That's going to pull another midfielder out. When you're playing 3 at the back, that means that your fullbacks now need to start coming as well, especially with those wide channels. So it was a good formation and a good tactic to use against Arsenal with 3 at the back. Against Manchester United with 4 at the back, we're going to have to bring in Matic potentially to try and sit on El Chapo. We're going to have to bring in one of the fullbacks, probably be Daley Blind rather than Valencia, I think. But it might be Valencia in terms of the speed, because you've got to watch for the counter-attack, because their counter-attack is basically all that this Stoke can really offer. They've got nice little neat triangles in the final third, but I don't think they're going to build up play, and start exploiting you with like neat passes and good angles and stuff like that. They're literally going to try and hit you with speed and dribbling on a counter-attack. So the danger men, it's El Chapo. He is the outlet for counter-attacks. He's got good dribbling. He's got excellent movement. He gets into the sort of spaces that things are going to happen. Very unfortunate against Arsenal. Caused Arsenal all sorts of problems at the back. We definitely need to keep an eye on him, and we definitely need to keep an eye on Shaquiri. Shaqiri's got the final ball. Shaqiri's got a long shot. Those are the sort of things that are going to cause Manchester United problems. We've not had it good at Stoke in recent years, so that is definitely something that we need to overcome this time around, in all honesty. So, this is how Stoke have lined up in their last couple of games. There has been a couple of changes in there, but I think this is how they're going to line up against Manchester United. And it's that forward three, that Shaquiri, Jese Rodriguez and El Choupo, that I think we really need to be looking out for. Allen and Fletcher, as we said, a little bit unspectacular, but certainly solid. Solid Premier League midfield. They're going to be aggressive. If you want to lump on some cash on something, I'd say Joe Allen to get booked is an absolute knocking bet. But I think that you've got to really look to you've got to really look to dominate the midfield physically, and that's why I think Ander Herrera, because this isn't Stoke of old, where Stoke would be this team of absolute monsters. If you look at that forward line, no one's really that big. The midfielders, nobody's really that big. They've got a couple of decent-sized centre-halves, but this isn't the physical Stoke team of Tony Pulis era. This is Stokealona. It's a team that tries to play football on the floor. Fletcher and Allen, they're going to try and play football on the floor. Those forward three are going to try and play football on the floor. The wing-backs don't usually get involved to the way that a Manchester United wing-back would be, which, you know, they're essentially wingers. But that core, those five in the core of the team are going to try and play football. This isn't Stoke of old. This isn't the Britannia of old. This is a team that's going to want to try and play football against you and going to try and hit you on the counter-attack playing football. I think we need to dominate this, not with the Fellaini-style domination where we're going to try and put somebody under pressure. You could definitely do that with Joe Allen with his height. Mourinho might choose to do that, and I would understand if he did choose to do that. But I would try and match Darren Fletcher's energy, and I would try and match it with Ander Herrera, who offers that little bit more quality than what Darren Fletcher's got. Let him and Fletcher dig it out. Let Matic take care of what's coming from their forward third, and let Paul Pogba be truly free to go and isolate Diouf, hopefully, as the right wing back, because we're going to cause them all sorts of problems. So my starting 11 for this game is going to be Bosch, David De Gea in net, obviously. I'm going to go with Blind and Valencia as my fullbacks. I'm going with Bailly and Jones, who've been phenomenal so far. I do have a little bit of a worry about match sharpness. So if I'm Jose Mourinho, if we've got this game sewn up by the hour, one of them's coming off, and I'm bringing whoever I'm thinking of starting, whether that's Lindelof or Smalling, in the midweek game against Basel. One of them's coming on to get some competitive minutes because I think that's invaluable. Matic at the base of midfield, Pogba on the left, very important. Herrera on the right. I know I keep asking this, and I know I keep talking about 4-3-3. I just think that it's an option for Manchester United, and I think certainly now we're entering what is a crazy month with fixtures. It's something we need to be looking out for. Mkhitaryan, I'm playing him on the right, and he's going to drift in as Tony Valencia comes and offers width on that right-hand side for us. I'm going with Martial over Rashford, and I'll tell you why. I think his dribbling is just that little bit more high quality, and I think the mental reasons for playing him over Rashford are significant. He's had a bit of a rest this weekend. Rashford played a couple of games, albeit played very well for England. I think that Martial is going to be that little bit more rested, and he offers you that little bit more quality. And I think Marcus offers you a certain type of quality, which is this constant determination, harrying, battering ram, pressure all the time. And I think that's something that would be pretty good. But there's a lot of space between that right wing back and that right-sided centre-half. And I think that is Anthony Martial territory. You give Anthony Martial space, he is an unbelievable close control dribbler. Unbelievable close control dribbler. You allow him any sort of space, he's coming in, he's going to make things happen for other people, which is a side of his game that he needs to develop, but he's going to make things happen for himself. So I am going to say, I've changed my mind several times in the course of researching for this video and everything else, but I have changed my mind several times, and I'm going to say Anthony Martial is going to score 2, Lukaku's getting 1, Pogba's getting 1. It's going to be another 4-0 win for Manchester United, providing we get an early goal, because it could be one of those days. This is the balance that we're in. It could be 1-0, it could be 4-0. It's probably not going to be anything in the middle. It's all going to be down to that early goal, because the longer a game goes on, I think the more United start to panic. We're not that confident Mourinho machine just yet. I think our confidence is still just a little bit fragile. But we do have the ability to absolutely tear a team open. And if they leave 3 forward players, it's going to be party time for Manchester United. And Anthony Martial, for me, in this instance, offers you that something a little bit different, that high level of quality and confidence to cut inside and make something happen for himself that Rashford just doesn't quite have yet. So for me, it's going to be Anthony Martial over Marcus Rashford this weekend. And also, mental side of things, he had a great game. He forced his way back into the team. You're going to destroy the lad's confidence that he wasn't the greatest against Leicester, but nobody was. There was no space. Leicester denied the space for everybody. They didn't come to play football. They came to deny space and deny opportunities. And of course they can do that. They're a Premier League team. So what I want to see from Anthony Martial is him given another opportunity, because I think he's a confidence player. And if he feels like he's got the backing of the manager, you're going to see a really good player. If he comes into the team, doesn't make it happen, and then gets dragged out of the team again, you're going to see what happened with Memphis, where you start to see a player that's absolutely desperate to make something happen every time he gets the ball. And that's not when you play good football. You play good football when you're relaxed, when you're confident, and when it just starts to flow nicely. So for me, leave Martial in the team. Let's go and put it on Stoke. Let's get some goals racked up. And the 3 keys to victory for me this week are going to be: 1, overload that left-hand side, whether that's Diouf or whether it's Jeff Cameron. Just absolutely hammer our left-hand side, their right-hand side, and try and find space. Make a 2v1 there, get the ball in the back, or go yourself if you're Anthony Martial. Use the space in front of the box by the fact that we're playing 4-3-3, or I'm hoping that we play 4-3-3. There is space in front of that box. Now, Allen and Fletcher keep it quite tight, but because they're box to box, they can be run ragged a little bit, certainly after the hour mark as well. Mkhitaryan coming in from that side on the right hand side can exploit the space in between and find those nicely weighted balls into the middle for Romelu Lukaku. That's another one for us to exploit. And the one that we need to be thinking about there is go man for man and a man spare at the back and stop their counter attack, because that is their major outlet. And that's it, simple as that. So thank you for watching this. Please give it a share. It helps it get seen around. If you like this kind of video, let me know in the comments. And like I said, please give it a share anywhere you want, whether that's on a forum, Reddit, anything like that you want to post it. It's greatly appreciated. So thank you. If you enjoy this style of analysis, like I said, let me know, because I enjoy doing it. And we're on the road to 50k. We passed 40,000. We are now hunting down 50,000. I want to do it before Christmas. You guys can make that happen. So please hit that subscribe button. Get it liked. Get it shared. Get your comments and questions and queries and anything like that in below, and I'll answer them before kick-off tomorrow. Laters.